On completion of her studies in the United Kingdom, Aileen was employed as a pediatric nurse in Guadeloupe for a few years and returned to Dominica in 1984 to take up duties as nurse midwife with the government of Dominica. Her professional life includes employment as program coordinator for the Dominican National Council of Women for a period of 2 years and cultural assistant on the team of the Division of Culture for 10 years. As cultural assistant, Aileen was responsible for research and documentation. This extensive research, through interviews, personal observation of heritage traditional dresses and head ties, collection of photographs and articles written on the subject, was the basis for Aileen's first publication entitled The National Dress of Dominica, the only one of its kind, a valuable tool for individuals involved in the construction of our national wear. This was published by the Division of Culture in 2008. It is as a result of her research that she has been able to master the art of tying the traditional head ties and to reintroduce to the Dominican society 3 head ties which were in danger of being lost forever, namely tête cassée, the tête wob and tête foncée. And it's Aileen who taught me that tête cassée is a specific type of headpiece, headwear. It is not generally people refer to tête cassée as anything. It is one type of headpiece. And the tête wob is what Gloria is wearing. And you're wearing what? The tête foncée, tête cassée. So that's the tête cassée. Okay. During her stint at the Division of Culture, Aileen assisted in all the other programs of the division. She was given the responsibility for managing the Arawak House of Culture, and she headed a UNESCO project entitled The Revitalization of Traditional Performing Arts and Culture. Additionally, she taught the traditional dances and promoted the correct use of Dominica's national wear to schools, seamstresses, and traditional dance groups island-wide. She also served as a member of the National Committee for La Francophonie and represented Dominica at several meetings and conferences in the Caribbean, Europe, and Africa on the issues of women. Visits to the African continent reinforced her strong leaning towards her African roots, especially their traditional song and dance, and aspects of their attire that have been handed down to us in the Caribbean region. The name Aileen Burton is synonymous with preservation and promotion of Dominica's traditional wear and other Creole dresses, her motto being research, teach, and preserve. Consequently, she has disseminated pertinent information on the Creole dresses of Dominica on radio, television, and print media in both English and Creole. Aileen is a founding member of the Rosa Cultural Group, established in 1990, and she served as president, PRO, and costume designer simultaneously for many years. This provided another opportunity to research, teach, and preserve. One of her major achievements was the production of a documentary on all traditional Creole outfits, which was filmed at the former State House. The Rosa Cultural Group later gave Aileen the prestigious title of Cultural Custodian, and she now serves the group and Dominica in an advisory capacity. Aileen has been engaged in facilitating workshops locally and internationally on the use of Dominica's national wear, as well as the tying of the traditional and modern Creole headpieces. In that regard, she has worked with Dominican-born renowned fashion designer Lauren Del Sol in Canada, V's Couture in Dominica, and more recently, she co-facilitated 2 intensive national dress construction workshops with a well-known pattern maker and accomplished seamstress, Mrs. Debbie Shillingford of Tree Life on Cork Street. In this course, all aspects of the national dress were explained: the history, raison d'etre, accessories worn, how to piche the wob properly, the comportment necessary when wearing the outfit, color combinations, and head ties using the wob. I'm a proud graduate of one of these courses. And I can tell you, Aileen is a no-nonsense person. Gloria also did the course. And I remember the day before graduation, I called Aileen and I said, I have finished my wob Dwiyet. Aileen, I cannot finish that jipon. Can you lend me your jipon, please? And she said very calmly, Sonia, my dear, you are going to finish your jipon. You are going to starch your jipon. And when you come to the gardens for graduation, I must hear swoosh, swish, swish. Otherwise, you have not done it properly. So I had to stay up all night working on that jipon and ensure that it was starched so Aileen would be proud of me. It is also noteworthy that by use of her extensive and attractive personal wardrobe at parades or various functions, Aileen has brought to life the traditional Creole outfits and has influenced others to do the same. I mean, just look at Aileen. Just look at Aileen. Among the accolades received by Aileen are the Golden Drum Award by the National Cultural Council, the Cultural Icon Award from the Association of Dominicans, Northeast United States, New Jersey, and the Cultural Icon Award from the St. Luke's Primary School in Dominica. Aileen retired from her profession as a palliative care nurse in Bastet, Guadeloupe in 2015, and she now resides in Guadeloupe. But of course, she makes periodic visits to Dominica because Dominica is always home. As a retired healthcare provider, Aileen continues sharing of information on Dominica's national wear. She has also found a new passion, that of making floral arrangements with, guess what? Weeds. A second publication entitled Creole Weeds and Friends seeks to acquaint the reader with nature's magnificent creations using something that we generally pay little attention to. Weeds, because weeds are often a bother. Through the publications that will be launched this evening, Aileen hopes to sensitize our young people to the components and correct use of Dominica's national wear for ladies. She is convinced that with the correct information disseminated to the youth, the wob Dwiyet and the jip chemise outfits will survive in all authenticity for generations to come. I am very proud to present this evening our author, Ms. Aileen Wilson.
Wow, thank you so much, Sonia. Yes, Sonia has, good evening, everybody. My two special people made a special effort to come. I'm so happy. Yes, Sonia has given a good representation of my journey in life, from being a nurse to being a cultural activist and consultant of the national dresses. As she said, I grew up on Coke Street. Everything happened down Coke Street. Carnival band, Juve morning, Sensei, people fighting. Everything happened in Coke Street. Now, for those of you who remember the old house, we had jealousies that closed. And we would peep when we were afraid. If there was a fight, Nenen would close the jealousies and say, go inside. And so everything happened, and I grew up in this milieu of culture, all types of culture. We had women up the road who had quarrels every Saturday night. I learned the words that I was told I should not use, but I have them in my vocabulary in case. And just to talk a little bit of the Creole, is that the people, when I was growing up, there was a certain flair to Creole. Creole is not spoken, and should I say patois, because this is what we said. Patois was a very expressive, it is a very expressive language. And you don't just use it any old how. You use patois expressions when English does not provide what you want to say, does not provide the answer. Anyway, that's for Kek. So let's go on with this book. I realized over the years, I know with working with Raymond Pearl in the cultural division, I realized that, we made an effort to promote the national dress in its authentic state. But gradually, we have seen that there are a lot of variations. And I thought, well, you cannot tell adults what to do. So let's start with the children. Let us develop the sense of value. Let us explain to them the value of an outfit created by women of color. As I say all the time, it was not developed by the white people. It was developed by women of color. And they took the best of both worlds. They took the European, because if you look at my wob Dwiyet, you will see it's straight up and very snug at the back. So this was really in the period, the Elizabethan period and Edwardian period. They took the best of what they had. And they made use of what the Europeans had, which is lace. And the idea of covering your petticoat and letting it drag on the ground is really not traditional. Because the old people will tell you that the petticoat often cost more than the dress because of all the lace. So let me give you a demonstration. You have your dress down. And when your dress is down, your petticoat. So you take this little piece, pull it up, and you tuck it in, tie it inside of it. And then you get the folds at the back. You do this, and very elegantly, your petticoat all around is showing. Is it? Yes. Fine. That's the objective. Your petticoat must be seen. Do not cover it. And you just hold it under your arm, very elegantly. And as Miss said, you have an attitude when you wear it. So back to the book. So I thought, okay, let's concentrate on the children. And I decided, okay, the wob Dwiyet. But this has been an experience. Self-publication was a journey. Well, I learned a lot. There's my little friend here who helped me. Giselle Laurent. Yes. So I said, okay, we are going to start with the wob Dwiyet. And the story is a story of, I did it in story form so that it would be a little bit more appealing to the children, get them to want to read. So it's about a little girl who is preparing, two little girls who are preparing for junior Creole. And they're Dominican and they live in Dominica. So the parents both chose the wob Dwiyet as a dress of choice for Junior Creole. And it just gives you the steps and the names of the components of the wob Dwiyet. And we have a letter here from Mrs. Sonia Magloire with a little stamp of Irene Peltier and our Dominican letter form. Do you remember that? Huh? So, Sonia gives an experience of her. She's married to Mr. Akpa. Where are you? From Côte d'Ivoire, and she has been to Côte d'Ivoire several times. And she, on one of her voyages, she realized that the value they give to their traditional wear is enormous, and the components of their dress is kept at the house of a senior person. And when the occasion arises, they come to the house to borrow. They can refurbish, they can add more, but the collection stays there. Okay. A little interesting aspect of the book is that I put here, and that's from days of old. It's not something that I created. It is something that we used to have books long ago and given to buy. So it's here. So if you want to give a present to anybody, there we are. You can say, this book belongs to so-and-so. My book was given to me by so-and-so, Godmother, Nenen, Maren, and a place for the picture in their national dress. So I'm hoping that this will just stimulate interest. They're very beautiful illustrations. Where's Sarama? She didn't come. But she's my little cousin, and I'm so proud of her. She did a fantastic job. Fantastic job. I'm sorry she's not there. And of course, Miss Giselle Laura did the layout. We'll talk about that later. I tried to use as many pictures of children, my grandnieces and cousin. And at the end, I ask a few questions to see if they have read the book and understood. Here is a coloring page. And you can use, there she is. There she is, Sarama. And Sarama advises me. She says that you can use acrylic paint, right, Sarama? Acrylic paint so that it will not rub off. The second book is about a young lady a young girl, 8 years old. And she's coming, her parents are taking her to Dominica for the first time for Heritage Day, for the independence celebrations. Now, she's a little girl like me, who's very interested in her Creole ancestry, because her parents are from Dominica. They moved to New Jersey, and she was born in New Jersey, so she has no idea. All she has is the hearing the stories, right? And this it describes how she hears the stories from her. They have family reunions. And then she hears her aunts and her uncles talking about Dominic of Gwen Pay and Blackwood Din, and she would just love to and the dress. So this is her little journey preparing for. And she arrives by Air Sikie in Dominica. The format of the book is more or less the same with the page. And she goes to Mass at Girondel. And there's a coloring page also. There are questions to be answered. And a little extra are my poems. Sometimes I write poems. I never thought I would, because I didn't like school. No, I never did. School was very stressful for me, yes. I made it. I had to with a father like mine. I had to. But it was very stressful. And then I find that things just come to me. And I can only say it's the spirit world. They come to me. And Esther asked me one day to come to do etiquette at Pioneer. Esther's another cousin. And I wrote these poems. And I just thought I would share it with the children. Because I think children need to be taught. Many parents are very busy these days. They are either behind a computer or an iPhone. And I think sometimes children get neglected. So there are little poems on manners. There's a little one, Daily Thanksgiving. And this thing just come to me. I don't think of doing it, but I'll get up one morning and I get a line and I just continue. And of course, my sister will help me to put it in. My teacher put it in. We have little things here. We have little pictures here. I try to get as many pictures. This is my aunt who died in 1915. She was 8 years old. This is my sister, who's now, 75? And this one, she's sitting right at the back, stand up. This little one here is her, Cecilia Rabes. This is Haley, her granddaughter. And this is my grandniece. I also do put in the different types of costumes, the gall, the afriole, and the jeep. Okay? So, yeah, this is it. I think that is all that I was going to say. So there we are. We have a lovely scene of Heritage Day. Lovely scene of Heritage Day. So I invite you to have a look. The books cost $50 and each. Before I end, I'm going to take this as a teaching lesson. I hope you don't mind. There has been a little, we hear things when we are growing up, and sometimes they get distorted, or we are left with a word that we are not sure. Like some of our belly songs, Raymond, a lot of them can't be translated because they don't know what it means. But we just keep on saying the words. But this is the Ted Cassie. I can assure you, this is the Ted Cassie. And I have somebody said that no, people mix it up with the Ted Ale, which is flat and one peak. Yes. When I was growing up, mommy was brought up on the plantation, the Battersea plantation, just over there. There was a big white house for those of us who remember, who were old enough to remember. And that is where she grew up. That's where she got married. Her father was in charge of the plantation. So she was privy to the people who wore the Dwiyet for special occasions, old ones for the garden, and semi-formal ones for just going to town, And Lennox has a picture in his book taken from 1915. Now, if you do not have a copy, you can't see it from here, unfortunately. But I don't know if there are any more. This is the first edition, I think. And there are others, or island culture. foulard. And again, I purposely wore this foulard because this is what they wore in the olden days. It was patterned. I see Julie nodding, so Julie must have known that from Vegas. So, yes. We have to develop that sense of fashion. We have to work with what we know. And this is what we know. They would take an ordinary scarf and put it in a triangle and secure it in the belt. Something else I want to show you. A lot of people tie it on their waist, but look at it here. You will see the difference. You will notice the difference. And Jean Reese spoke about it in one of her books, saying that she saw the women with high-waisted dresses. You know? So it's always tied up. And yeah, so it's a gold. It's a color contrast. And the color contrast with the petticoats. A lot of people want to wear colored petticoats now. I can understand that because fashion, what comes into vogue is people want to keep up with fashion, yes. But we need to know the value of our traditional dress. You will not go to England and find the Queen wearing something for an occasion which she's not supposed to. She will not. They stick by tradition. And why aren't we proud of it? This is something that I ask all the time. Why aren't we proud to wear our national dress as it was? Why do we want to change it? For what reason? It's beautiful. Writers have said that sensational, exotic. That is how they describe the dress. But we don't see it as that. You know? We see it as I don't know. I don't. Sorry? I don't know that I agree so much with that. Because, well, maybe it needs to be in schools. You know, you're right, Leslie Ann. In the sense, I think it should be in schools. And this is another reason why I have done it. Yes, that's another reason. So I agree with you in that respect. Yes, ma'am?
I want to know, with the one, is it not appropriate to wear the ribbons with the petticoats?
It is not traditional. It is not traditional. You will find it more with the jeep, because the jeep outfit is really an outfit of attraction. It is sensual. It originated in Martinique when Martinique was in its heyday. There were a lot of, you've heard of St. Pierre? Okay. And they say that's why the volcano came, because Martinique was just getting too much. Too much. So the jeep outfit came before the wob Dwiyet. So this was the period when the freed slaves looked to attract the plantation masters. They wanted to be supported. They wanted to be part of society. They wanted to be recognized, even if not on the higher echelons, but at least in between. You know, they wanted to know that they could get gold from the plantation master. And so jewelry was fashioned for them. In here, I have two sets of balls. One set, it has little rids like that, and it's called the fossa. The plain one is a grandeur. And the grandeur, they say in Martinique that Dominica's never very rich, so most things happened in Martinique. But you know that we were French, English, we changed about 7 times, Mrs. Harris? Several times. And so this is where we get our influence from. And they say that every time a child was born, the masters would give the nanny a grando, and she collected it and she made a chain with it. And maybe on every birthday of the child, she would get another grando, and she would have rows up her neck. You know, some of them did very well. So the jeep really is, you have more leeway with the jeep, whereas the wob Dwiyet is a little bit more stately, more traditional. It came after. They said that the ladies were getting pneumonia from exposure when they wore the jeep. Yes. So they moved over to the wob Dwiyet. Yes, Barbara.
Think about the African material. Because some people say that we are descendants of Africans or Indians. Why are we wearing?
Aha. Well, the English brought Madras. Was it this late 1700s, the 1800s? The English brought the Madras from India to Africa and from Africa to the West Indies. The Africans love Madras. The Ichikiri tribe, they wear Madras. Mrs. Piper was from that tribe. You remember Mrs. Piper?
Yes.
She was from the Ichikiri tribe. And they wore Madras. They loved Madras. And those in Delta State in Nigeria, they love Madras. Madras, let's say that you knew when a man was really interested in you when he bought you a bundle of Madras. Because they use Madras from birth to death. For the baby, they use 1 square. Normally, it comes in 8 squares. So for the baby, they would use 1 square, 2 for the, so that's 1, 2, 4, 6 for the wrapper and the buba, the top, then for the head tie, and then when the person died, they would use Madras for the dead. So it's very African. It's very African. And just adding more to your question, I have been asking, actually I have a YouTube channel for those who are interested. It's Alien Keeping It Authentic, so you will get a lot of the spirit and aura of the dress. And what was I saying? African fabric. If I took out my hat, if I took out my headpiece, you would see the gray hairs, you'd understand. Yes, I am asking that people do not use, obviously, African print for the wob Dwiyet. It was not used in those days, first of all. Yes? You want to say something?
No, well, I don't want to.
Oh, no, because I might go off at a tangent. Yes. It was not used in those days because obviously they did not have African print coming down. Everything came from Europe. But the Africans, they are a homogeneous race. We are a hybrid race. We have English. We are not African. We are not European. We are Creole. We are Métis. So therefore, and the ancestors did that for us. What more do we want? You know? The Africans also have special prints for special occasions, and we are not to know that. We are not to know when to wear prints, because there are some prints you will find continuously. They don't go out of style, because they are used for specific occasions. You don't want to go and use Ghanaian print, or the Kente, for a wob Dwiyet. It is theirs. It is for special occasions. We'll abstract patterns. Gosh, why do we want to go to African prints? Africans will not wear our wob Dwiyet. Excuse me, Mrs. Akka. But I know that she told me they loved her outfits, and she had to leave all her Creole clothes in Côte d'Ivoire. Okay. Yes?
So this is what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Because I know with the wob Dwiyet, could wear Madras. But then there is that flowered pattern as well, and then white. But then I entered a store this afternoon, and a lady came to have a wob Dwiyet made for her. And the lady was telling her, well, you could use flower. She said, no, flower is not Creole. Flower is not for it's only Madras. So I was about to ask when you stated that. I actually have 2 questions.
Yes, yes.
One, I have to make into a question because I heard it was question time.
Yes.
So I want to formulate a question.
Yes.
Why did the good Lord
Hmm.
make me meet with you at this time? I will tell you why for those who are here. We went to the funeral for the late
Alex, yes. My good
and then
friend.
when we went over to the State House to empathize and sympathize with the family, Helen is standing
That's my
outside
name.
whilst I was waiting for the rest of the people to come in. And then I was saying, but this is Helen Burton because she worked with Mama at the Ministry of Culture.
Yes, and Dominica National Council of Women. Particularly.
So I stood looking at you, but I don't want to come to ask if it's you, for it to be the wrong person. So then, as while she was standing there, I saw she was just by herself. So we just went and then she said, so that's you, let's go inside. And instead, well, I hope it's not instead of empathizing and sympathizing with the family, the entire night was culture. Because I wanted to know, as the new Minister for Culture, what do I have to do with independence coming? How do I dress? What do I wear? When do I wear it? And it's like divine intervention. The Lord just sent you to me. And then she's telling me of the lunches. And I said, okay, I have to be there. Because regardless of the rainstorms I have up in my constituency, I stayed for you.
Thank you.
Because I am so blessed to have met you. And as Miss Akbar said, I just realized you are indeed the living repository. And we should applaud and forget about we have very few people remaining. I know my aunt Pearl and my Reverend Lawrence and so many others. But I really noticed the variation in the work here. And it got to me because I wanted to find out what is the real thing. Because as the Minister for Culture, I don't want to go to follow the pattern of being in fashion rather than staying in the tradition.
And I applaud you for that.
My dear, thank God for you. And thank you for trying your best to preserve.
Thank you.
And let me just let you know, I am so excited that I'm buying 2 books tonight. tomorrow I want to go to the schools because usually at that time, this is there as a principal, usually at that time we concentrate on national symbols.
Yeah.
So it would be very nice for me to go tomorrow and say, here is a book you all can read for the children. Because it is child friendly.
Yes.
Let me tell you something, you did a great job. Reader friendly. So it's just going to make a wonderful difference to how children can have ways to learn more about the national dress. And I hope you can do more. I know on Friday, Raymond has put together the national symbols with the cultural division, so we are going to launch that as well. So this week is just going to be a blessed week for me. And again, thank the Lord. So thank you so much.
I believe in providence, and if I said more or less the same thing to my sister, that the Lord does not send me where I should not go. This is holy name. I want just getting back to your thing about the about the madras and the thing. Okay, I think people confuse madras with plaid. Madras is a particular fabric. It was made with banana fibers, but you know the British have to take away everything, so they use cotton, the cotton strands, and but the Indians use banana fibers to make the madras, and the madras had a particular smell, a particular odor, perfume that. would just identify it as madras. Mrs. Cordero talks about the imite, which is, I think, what we're getting. The imite is different. It doesn't have that smell, right? But I think they have more cotton in it than the fibers. Now, madras comes in packs of 8. And the patterns are uniformed. So you may have bands across, bands coming down with a plain middle. Or you may have stripes. But the patterns are uniform. And between each square, there is a demarcation line which is in white. How are you going to match that up? You know, that is what makes it difficult. First of all, it is light. Secondly, it's going to be difficult to match. And when you sew it, it won't look nice. It really won't look nice. But with plaids, you are able to do that because they're by yards. So even if you waste a lot of cloth, but still you're able to match. I think my seamstress did a good job in matching my plaid. I think she did a good job. Mind you, something I'm going to tell you. I went to her and I said, she's an African, she's from Cameroon, we live in Bordeaux, and I wanted this made for the occasion. And I said to her, please, can I have my sleeves cut on the bias? She told me, well, the fabric is not enough. So I ran down into Port-à-Pit, spent some more money, got in a fabric, brought it back to her. They didn't have the pattern that I had chosen previously. Got it back to her. And when the dress is sewn, look at my sleeves. I said to her, but madam, if I am supposed to be the consultant of the seamstress, I have to come out properly clad. But then time was short, and I wasn't able to leave it with her. But can you imagine the difference it would have made were it in madras? First of all, ease of movement, and secondly, effect. So please, your sleeves, bias, especially if you're using stripes, plaids, and things like that. Now, if you look at Lennox's book, the ladies are wearing what people think is madras, but it's plaid. It's not madras. But I don't know if there are any more of those books available, Raymond. No. Yeah, I think. Pardon me? This is plaid. This is not madras. The squares are in the baskets. That's madras. But no, this is not. Because you can match those. You would not be able to do it with the madras. Yes,
I just wanted to commend you too and to say I grew up in Pop Street,
right.
my husband and I,
Oh, yes.
and I always admired. I mean, when I got the email saying that this was, I said to Brother, I want to do this.
Oh, I'm so happy you came.
I'm always outside, when you come out. I look forward what you were going to wear. I grew up looking at you and admiring this type. And I wanted to ask you this. Do you think that the varieties that are coming out now have something to do with cost? Because in 1988, I spent $250 for my work. And last year, I wanted to have a new one. And the lady told me it would be $1,800. So I'm thinking, and sometimes I say that it's not that we do not want to have more. I think that a lot of us are proud of it. It's just that if you have to make one for yourself, one for your daughter, one for, there is such a cost to it. That I think there's a deterrence.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it is so necessary for that great jump from 250 to 1,000. And that is not with your material. That is the material. I bought my material already and bring it into the game, and that's the cost of it. So I think that has something to do with it, and something we should address. But why have it so, jump in price?
Yes.
Isn't that deterring
Yeah.
persons? Even to time ahead.
Yeah.
You had a course that I wanted to do some time ago, and I missed it. I had passed up at the time.
Yeah.
And so I missed that. But every time that I want to time ahead, they now move from $50 to $150. So to just tie your head for you in the morning that you're going to something. So I'm not saying that what they're doing is not commendable, that they're concealing the tradition. But is it supposed to be so expensive?
That is a very good question. I don't do economics, and so I really don't know what to say. But all I can say is that it is something that you have to prepare for. Like we prepare for Christmas, prepare for Carnival. When you make a wob Dwiyet, make it ample. Don't make it, to your exact fit. And you don't have to change your wob Dwiyet every year. And that is a mistake people make.
I have mine since 1988.
Beautiful. You do not have to have a wob Dwiyet every year.
Also, for those people who sew, like Sonia and Gloria, you're going to be here.
Yeah. So we can tell people also to follow the sewing courses that are given. And yes, it is worth looking into. And maybe government might make a little reduction during the November period. I'm not an economist. Sorry? That has come up before? Yeah. There you are. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Just now he was up.
Good evening. This is
Yes.
from MO News. I have two comments. It was pertaining to the book. The first question was, will there be an electronic copy of the book? And
Okay.
And the second question was pertaining, where in Dominica is your book available so patrons could patronize?
The books will be available from the paint shop, like the Garaway paint shop. They'll be available there. Cock Street, straight down Cock Street. Cock Street Posse. Yeah, man. Yes, Cecilia? I'm sorry. Electronic, yes. After the Ministry of Education buys up all the books, I'm going to put them on Amazon. But you'll have to buy them first. Yes.
Two comments. One, maybe it would be an idea for the Ministry of Education to run a class in how to make the duets properly. Because there are very few people that can do it properly. And that is a skill that we die. We don't train our few people.
Well, this is why Debbie and I had this workshop. So Gloria and Sonia know exactly what to do. I have been to June later. I have brought her an 100-year-old duet to show her how it was made. I worked very closely with Marveline Laronde, because in this duet there is a little, if I just expose a little bit, there is what we call a corps jupon. And a lot of people, a lot of seamstresses forget that. It's very important because when it's hot and you perspire, it absorbs the perspiration. The sleeves are lined, the back is lined. It must be so. Something that I feel that needs to be learned as well is how to make the accordion pleats. People don't like to do that because it's time consuming. And when you look at the wob Dwiyets of long ago, everything is hand sewn. Even the box pleats, because probably they didn't have machines at that time. But with the accordion pleats, you cannot use a machine even in this day and age. It has to be sewn, hand sewn. Because it's supposed to stand up. You cannot flatten it. No pleats. And it's really created to have, like the Europeans, a wob That is what it is. That is to imitate that. Yeah?
My second comment.
Yeah.
Growing up,
Yeah.
I grew up with the fuller stuff. We have seen the evolution, I think, of our response to the new type of fuller. So tell me a word about.
Well, the round fuller, as I will call it, is really from Martinique, and it's called the cap visite. The cap visite. In other words, a cape you put on when you went to visit. Yes. So the helpers would take the children after Mass to visit relatives. So they would change this one and put the round one. But they also in Martinique use this. In Guadeloupe, they use that as well. But I would really like us to return to the triangular fuller. Please. 45th anniversary, ladies, do your best. Do your best. And try to mix and match. Try to be, creative in that sense. Have a dress sense. And there's a color code. There's a color code in the book which will help you. And there I had to tax my little girl's brain. And she met up all my challenges. Come on, Giselle, you can do that. Let's go. Yeah. So this is how, with pale blue, again, y'all have a problem. Well, we have a problem in that there's so many hues of colors now. So we have a problem. But when I interviewed Miss Eugenia Charles many years ago, she was very adamant. She said color contrast is very important. This is why you don't make the headpiece to match your... we make like things match. Make things contrast now. So for red, you have a violet-colored foulard, and vice versa. For a violet, the dominant color, if the dominant color of your Dwiyet is violet, you have a red foulard. For pink, it's green. For dark blue, it's yellow. You see that contrast? Very African. Pale blue, rose. There we are. Brown, blue, chocolate, blue, pale blue. And black was only used for mourning. And you could contrast it with a white foulard, a purple foulard, or a black and white foulard. There you have the contrast. And they never talk about black backgrounds for everyday use. It was just used for mourning. Now, when girls come to us with the black backgrounds, it's difficult to choose a foulard. Very difficult. Whereas, if the main color was pink or dark blue or whatever, it would be easier. Yeah? And then there is something else that Europeans had made that observation. They found that for a caprese, our kind of skin, caprese color, reddish color, you would use yellow or yellow, pale green. Then there is a mulatress, depending on the shade, it would be green, pink. And for darker skinned people, red. Red with the violet foulard. So all that's in here. All this is in here. Any more questions?
I'm going to make a suggestion about bringing down the price. My daughter is good in Shanghai. And she says people only make costumes all year long. For Rio, for Trinidad, for different facilities. Actually, all they do is costumes. Them up for pattern, and people go from that. She'll go to one gun, she'll go back, and they get so right? Now, we don't want to take away that skill.
I don't think.
That's the only way I can see.
can be time consuming, but as the prices of things are going up, we must learn to do it. What is wrong with learning to do it? Huh? You save towards it and you learn to do it. This is good. I would not like China to have monopoly on our national dress. To be very, very honest, I would not like it. Because we're going to get plastic. I don't know. I just think that it's a Dominican thing and we should keep it in Dominica. And it's a way of making, it's economical for the people who sew. And it is it's like a tradition. And I don't think it should be relieved of our hands.
I think the answer really is that more people want this.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think probably what another solution would be that a seamstress, government could probably help a seamstress to set up a mini factory where we can cut several pieces at once and make it, easier and faster. Yes. Minister will take that up. Yeah.
Because it was not bad. Who gave the idea that we should probably use the time during adult education month?
Yes.
Or sometimes
Yes.
for new skills.
Yes.
When we are nearing independence.
Right.
After it has courses.
Mm-hmm.
So we do a month adult education for the time of the headpiece, how to dress in the national wear, and do it also for new skills.
Of course.
So for young people too.
Yes.
I think this is something that, I'm not discounting price, but I know this is something that we can do almost immediately.
Yes, I think we can.
Sure that we can get this going.
I think so.
And with new skills.
Yes, I'm just a ferry away.
I don't want it to sound as if this thing's good now. The youth division, the adult education department, the division of culture, all those departments have run.
We need a revival, Paul. I agree with you, but we need a revival. Yes. Yes, that's right. They need yes. The one thing I'm going to ask you, please, when you are preparing to wear the wob Dwiyet, decide early what you want to do. Okay? You cannot do it at the last minute. Trust me. Trust me on that. Cannot be done at the last minute. Otherwise, things are going to go wrong. Okay? If you make a cotton Dwiyet, there's a border on the inside, a white border. It must be starched. Must be starched. Okay, yes, the petticoats. And the petticoats, swish. And that was actually Urban Martha's father is the one who told me so. Yes, Urban. Yes. Because they lived on Jewel Street, right? And there was the Catholic Church, the Methodist Church, the Anglican Church. So Mr. Martin had a clear view of all the ladies going to church. And he is the one who said to me that, when the ladies were walking up, you'd hear shh, shh, shh. Yes. And it does happen. It does happen because when I start my petticoat properly, I do hear the swish, swish. So that was Urban's father. Yes. So again, you need to start early. You need to choose your fabric properly. You need to get the contrast, the color contrast for your foulard. You need to start your petticoats. Roseau Cultural Group will tell you what I've been behind them. Please start your petticoats. I used to do it at one point. Paul used to come and say, look at Ellen sweating, ironing petticoats because they have to look good. I used to do it myself, all of them. And then I said, no, Ellen, you have to stop. they need to learn. Yes.
I just wanted to share with everyone. This person was, or is rather, still one of my fun Creole. As a child, I've always wanted to, and I so much so that they didn't have to finish saying this on it to represent my small for the Northern District rather, and as
But elegant gown.
yes, yes.
Giselle gave it a name, Creole elegance, and I love that word. You remember? Creole elegance. That is what it must be.
Today's I'm a friendship. But I just want to give you my commitment.
Thank you.
I am committed to preserving the tradition as well every year. That's what I wear, and I'm not going to stop. And so much so that I file. So I spoke to the Dominicans as the first one.
And she's a button, so she can't do otherwise. No way.
Lone Academy Island is so that in itself is also part of so he's documented.
I know Minister has to go out, so we just take 2 more questions. Yes, sir.
Being that I'm involved with preservation of tangible and intangible heritage, if the wob Dwiyet is something that we hold dear to our hearts, it will be very expensive to maintain. Keeping archives is very expensive. I had a consultation with her the other day, so it's very expensive. So if our wob Dwiyet is part of us, spend the money.
I just want to make another comment here. Somebody was asking, why is it that a lot of people don't do wob Dwiyet, etc.? There are 2 reasons. I'll give the first one. When we're trying to sell a product, we advertise it. We do an entire PR on it. And I think what happens is because it's natural to us, we don't really think we should. But we need to. It's just like I hear a lot of the young people, they can't speak Creole. We need to advertise it. It is a language. It's not. It's Creole. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that patois means a corruption of. This is from Jamaica, so we used to say, why is when we do it is a corruption of, when they do it is derived from. And it's a very serious thing.
Yeah.
Creole is a language. It has been established in language. It's derived from. If you try to track English several years, 100 years back, there isn't one word that we're speaking or that you're going to find. Because it's derived from several different languages of the conquerors. And Afrikaans, which was born at the same time as our Creole, Afrikaans is what a lot of the Dutch white people in South Africa speak. It's referred to as a language. Yet the African languages that are thousands of years old, they refer to it as a dialect, excuse me. So I'm saying we have to be very, very careful with that. It's a language. We need to popularize it. We need to have awards for people, young people, to speak Creole, because a lot of the older people already speak it. And we need to popularize the outfit. We need to advertise it. You have the Creole Festival. Everywhere I turn around, I see a promo for the Creole Festival. and people are crazy coming to it from all over the world. They're coming to the Creole Festival. I think that's very important. There's another very important thing that we might be afraid to say. It's a fact. Because it's not the Europeans who developed the wob Dwiyet or the sheep.
At all.
It's the African people. Let's be clear on that.
The different people
And
of color.
everything that was of Africa was negative. And we were afraid to associate with something that the Africans did. And we have to just be blatant with that. Okay? That's why a lot of people do not wear the wob Dwiyet. A lot of people in Toronto, when I go to certain special occasions, I wear the wob Dwiyet. They come to take Dominicans. They come to take pictures with me. They're surprised that I can speak Creole. They're surprised that I wear the wob Dwiyet very proudly. Both myself and my sister. But hers disappeared in a hurricane. But so she now has to make it. Okay? We save a whole lot of our friends. Frances Del Sol and her sister. We all wear wob Dwiyet. Okay? But we have to not be afraid to make that statement. It is because the African people did it is why people very often do not want to wear it. And we need to take away that stigma and say we are proud. We are proud of our African heritage, regardless of what we look like. We have African blood in us. And we are proud of it, and we need to make the young people understand that. I think they're more aware of it than we are. But their parents need to encourage that. So I just wanted to
It's extremely hard. I looked at the and I was feeling sorry for her. She was sitting there in the sun, in this long sleeping and begging. Was dressed.
But it's amazing. I think sometimes we have the wrong impression because it's not hot, The wob Dwiyet is not hot. It's lined with white cotton. Very, very important. What's that? Yeah. But this is something I wanted to get to just to respond to Amma. Do you know Amma Harris? You've heard of her. Anybody in the room knows? There's some people who do know Amma Harris. Okay. Amma, I would like to introduce you to our ladies.
As Errol's neighbor. Your Errol's neighbor. Well, then you are definitely in the best company.
I want to say something about your comment. The wob Dwiyet was worn by women of color. Women, as Mr. Mate again explained to me, women who were self-employed. They were nannies, they were cooks, they were hucksters, and they made their living. So this is maybe one reason. The second reason is that with the wob Dwiyet, as the people who wore it every day, I remember Mammy Alison Johnson, Lady Lazar, Madidi. I really didn't wear it every day, but she wore it on special occasions. As these people gradually died off, and Frances remembers a lady coming from Pottersville, also coming up in her wob Dwiyet. So that is in the 60s. So the Dwiyet was worn every day up to the 60s. But what we have done to promote it is to put it on stage. And that is another deterrent from wearing it every day or on other occasions. We have put it on stage to promote it. Yes, that is it. It's like a costume. So this is another deterrent. It is a traditional dress, but I'm saying to you that this might have been a deterrent. When I was heading Roseau Cultural Group from the 1990s, I tried for them to use it often, made occasions that we would use some version of it often. Okay? And this is where we need to But it will come in time. It will come in time. To use it for occasions other than on stage. Now, there is this lady, V. Scutiu. She has an excellent idea for bringing out that wob Dwiyet. I will not disclose it here, but if you can speak with her and help her, I think it is something worth looking into. Okay, she has an excellent idea. Maybe she doesn't have the time or the money, but it's an excellent idea. Speak to her about it. Yes. Yeah.
An interesting thing happened when the Queen came here to Dominica, along with the, and they had that big parade in the garden.
Oh yes, I remember those days.
As a result of that, we were invited on a cocktail party. And I remember that was the first time a wob Dwiyet was worn at an official function in Dominica, except for by the other. I got out of the car, when we had on his white shirt with his thing and his black pants. I had on my wob Dwiyet. When I walked there, the people in the audience, because you know everyone has one mark over. So the crowd went crazy. They clapped. And when I went on the boat and then when we went to receive his award, I remember this. It is so beautiful.
Exactly.
Miss Charles was there. And as soon as we came out from the official function, she told me, I need a wob Dwiyet for the next national league. Who made your wob Dwiyet for you? I told her it was who made it for me and Goodwill, right? Right opposite Burnley, I went to achieve. And she wore a wob Dwiyet the following year for national.
Oh yes, she was.
And then the trend has continued. But what is happening? They are wearing what I call bastardized version of the wob Dwiyet. So we had a meeting at the cultural division on that because I brought to their attention that on the radio it was being said that you must have madras, otherwise it's not a wob Dwiyet. So we had a meeting on that, and the cultural division said they were going to ensure that there was an education program on to tell people about the various.
Anita, what year would that be?
Much. Remember what year?
Okay, so Anita, it means it's before the 90s. Well, the cultural division. Sorry, Remy? Yes,
I think generally, if we have to look at a more positive level, that we have seen the use of our sheep and wob Dwiyet through the years.
Yeah.
And we've also seen the growth of the use of the sheep and the wob Dwiyet. I think in more modern times, we are seeing a lot of variations. There is a problem, and then surprisingly, even maybe less use of the wob Dwiyet itself, and maybe the different factors on the. But I remember Mrs. Corderon says I was a little boy. My first sister Zilla was in her group, in the carry artistic group. My first sister, she had won this Dominica, but she had joined me. They were wearing wob. That was the late 50s. She left Dom, my sister left in 1959. And the years before she was part of Mrs. Corderon's group, they were using wob Dwiyet. Singing folk songs, singing the folk dances.
Yes.
In the 1960s, you had the national celebrations, and they started a show, Miss National Day. They had it
Yes.
Every year, it was something like the wob Dwiyet. They would have the wob Dwiyet. The wob Dwiyet was the main part of the show.
Yes.
That went on for several years. And then now it evolved into the wob Dwiyet show. And every year since 1982, Cultural Division has been making wob Dwiyet for
Right,
all the
yeah,
So
yeah.
multiply all those years,
Yes.
7 by 8, and you see how many young ladies have,
Yes.
not to say they're thinking of,
They have, yes.
wob Dwiyet
Yeah.
from the Cultural Division. And we have seen, and this is for the Royal School Campus, St. Martin's School Church, Wesley High School Church, dressed up in jeep, hundreds of children doing things in the garden.
Yeah.
During Carnival, because there was no independence jump up at the time, you have bands of people in wob Dwiyet and in jeep during Carnival. And that is something we've lost, the wob Dwiyet and Egypt. But that was part of the tradition.
Yes.
Part of our lives.
Yeah.
We had wob Dwiyet, we had jeep in the Carnival.
Yes, yeah.
Now, when we started the wob Dwiyet, and I don't think it was a bad thing at all, I think it helped to promote, because I'm asking from what helping to promote. Those shows help to promote and create awareness about our national wear. And I noticed now that all the overseas Dominican associations have taken on. They have Miss wob Dwiyet, they even have it bigger than us. They have Madam Wob, they have Tima Tatla,
but in what way?
Canada, in the United States, it is all, and that is because we are the ones who did the groundwork, promoted all of those things, and now they're taking off in all of those countries. So I'm saying let us also look not just at the weaknesses, but at the strengths. Where we were before and how far we've come. And now we need to build on, it's like a house that's being built. We have to now build on what the foundations that were laid on and maybe not feel like, well, we haven't been doing anything, nobody wearing wob Dwiyet. No, that's not our story. That is not our story. Our story is the wob Dwiyet has been used, the jeep has been used. Many people have tried, even my sister sang, they had songs about, wearing wob. Everybody encouraged. Sonia Lloyd, Saki dinu passport, Saki dinu passage. Every show about wob Dwiyet is a Sonia Lloyd song. We have done a lot of work in, and you, Elaine.
But Miss Lawrence,
and then Elaine, congrats to you. Coming to you and your books, and the first one, because you two have taken on the baton.
This is what I was about to say.
People have done work, and you're now continuing. So it's we, I think it's we as Dominicans, maybe we making excuses for this, that, whatever. Let us invest in, in a wob, in a jeep. Cultural Division, when we were there in Pearl, and even we were talking about that, encouraging women. Every year there were courses in making money. They came down from Martinique to help us. 1 year. Courses in you did a course, was it last year that we did it with Sonia? You all did a course in making up the wob. So I don't know if some people are not aware these courses are going on, this training is going on. But I'm saying from now we need to strengthen. That is what we have to do. Build on what has been laid down already. The government has to invest more money into those kinds of things, into training, into schools, have it in the schools and whatever. And then I think it will blossom even more from what I've already seen.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Lawrence. And this is what I was going to say in support of the Cultural Division, which is why I asked what you. Because I know you and Pearl and Alwyn have been working hard towards this thing. And the Rosa Cultural Group just took a step up over from Mrs. Cordero to help bring it. But I think our focus with the Rosa Cultural was to use it out of season. Out of season. Hurricane Maria destroyed my house, so our family house. So I'm in Guadeloupe. But this is one of the areas that I wanted to work on. To have activities where the wob Dwiyet to be one out of independence celebration. But ladies and gentlemen, we could go talking all night. But I am going to give the vote of thanks right now. I am so happy to see you all, just my special people who are here. Beautiful. Thank you for coming. He has done marvelous things, and if I had a voice, I would sing it to you. But I can't. So he has done marvelous things. Praise the Lord. With him, all things are possible. And when making things possible, God sends earthly angels along your path who guide you and assist you. Some of these earthly angels are Dr. Timon Joseph. Special thanks to you, Doctor, for offering the UWI Center for the launching of the books, promoting the books through your email blast, and for welcoming our guests. Gloria Tavernier, cultural enthusiast, participant of a workshop on the construction of the wob Dwiyet, facilitated by Mrs. Debbie Shillingford and myself in 2022. Thank you, Gloria, for blessing the occasion with such a meaningful prayer. Mrs. Sonia Akpa, my dear friend from the 1990s. When we worked together on the National Francophonie Committee, we traveled to Benin. I got her to come with me to Benin. She came screaming and crawling, but she came. We traveled to Benin and for a conference, and we have been close ever since. We also brought the first African group to Dominica, you remember? The Ballet Bugarabu. Voila. I am humbled by your introduction, Sonia. Thank you. Claude's cultural sisters, Annette is here, Belinda is here. And for Claude's, thank you. Claude is ever ready. Thanks for assisting me with the sale of books. Pearl, thank you for always being there for me, despite your busy schedule. You have assisted me in so many ways. Too numerous to mention. Thank you so much. Sarama Rose, please stand. My beautiful cousin, thank you for your brilliant illustrations. They have brought the books to life. I know that for you, Sarama, this was a learning experience. It was a learning exercise in the components of a national dress. You didn't know them, did you? I hope you enjoyed the experience. She was very patient. Every time I told her to change something, this is not correct, very patient. Yes, Auntie. Giselle Laura, please stand. Giselle designed the layout of the books. A special thank you to you for your patience and understanding when I made sudden changes or additions to the books at the last minute. I gave you challenges and you overcame every one of them. I think it was also a learning experience for you in this field of our traditional culture. And I say to both of you, the knowledge acquired must not be forgotten, but must be used to inspire others of your age group. That is your mission. From Auntie Amy. 2 nights ago, Providence, and by God's grace, I met with 2 more angels to share my passion for wearing our national dress correctly. They are the Honorable Greta Roberts, her mother who sent her in, Minister for Culture, Youth and Sports and Community Development, and Honorable Fenella Wenham, Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education. Mesdames, thank you very much. Thank you for coming. MO News and GIS, thank you for coming to live stream so that my sisters, family and friends overseas could participate. Amar Harris. Everybody knows Amar? Okay. She was one of the drama instructors. She's the one, I think you had one of the first for our age group, a drama club, and she would put on plays, and boy, I tell you, you know what she asked you to do, heaven help you. Well, yes, yes. We put on Meet Arizona. Ask your mothers, all the young ones. Meet Arizona. Yes. And to you, special guests, thank you for answering my call. Your presence here indicates that you are interested in keeping the national dress authentic. It also indicates your confidence in me as a dedicated custodian of the information and a staunch promoter. I hope your presence here manifests your commitment, and you will join me in my quest to keep the national dress in its original form. The experience of writing and self-publishing has been a great challenge, and I have learned a lot. What did I know of ISBN? What did I know of that? I thought you just wrote the book and printed it and that was that. But now you have to get an ISBN. Polly Patulo provided me with the necessary information, and with the help of my niece and goddaughter Carol, who is more competent with the computer than I am, we obtained the CARICOM from the CARICOM Secretariat in Guyana, the ISBNs. I breathed a sigh of relief when the file and the ISBN had finally been sent off to the publisher. A heavy weight lifted off my shoulders. Imprint Digital of the UK did a good job of printing and posting, and Network Trading Incorporated cleared the books from customs, and I had a problem with FedEx. There is a local saying which goes like this: Chien ni katat, me ipa futi fe kachine. You all understood? You didn't understand? Chien ni katat, me ipa futi fe kachine. It translates this: a dog has 4 legs, but not for hell can he go 4 ways at once. He needs the other 3 to get to where he wants. And I applied this saying to my 3 sisters, who are my other 3 legs on my journey through life. They indulge my every request for support in whatever I am doing, whether it is moral support, physical, or financial. I thank God for these gifts to me. And so I say a special and loving thank you to Frances and Kerry, Paula and Tony, Miriam, and Bugs. But tonight is a special occasion for me, and I take this opportunity to say an immense thank you to honor someone who is very special to me. My mentor, who is a scholar, reserved by nature, and an excellent teacher. And often I say into my mind, why wasn't she my teacher in school? I may have enjoyed it better. Kenyan professor Piero Lumumba describes a mentor thus, and I quote, "A mentor is not an angel. It does not mean that one who is a mentor has no weaknesses. A mentor is one who does not instruct you. A mentor simply helps you to focus on the things you are good at. A mentor does not change who you are or what you want. A mentor improves you and allows you to blossom. That is why you say a good mentor is one who allows you to grow, who fertilizes you and cross-pollinates your ideas, and affirms you and rebukes you when it is necessary to do so, with firmness but with love." End of quote. And so, Frances, I thank you for your support, patience, and guidance. Like the good old ever-ready batteries, maybe people only from our generation, those ever-ready batteries. Frances was ever ready to listen to me, day or night, tired or not. Because I always made urgent phone calls. They were always urgent. She always gave me her attention and would assist me in making sense of my sometimes jumbled has been invaluable to me, and I thank you and ask you to stand to receive a small token of my appreciation.
Wow. That's what the big sister.
And so, my dear friends, we have come to the end of the launching. You are free to buy some books. I hope you do. You all do. I will be here to sign it, but I'm also asking you to wait for a little bit of refreshments. Say something to you. Thank you so much for coming.
We at UWI should come to the microphone.
Yes.
On the 12th of October, we at UWI will be hosting the E.O. LeBlanc Memorial Lecture, and this year we're doing it in the form of a panel, and the topic is the national wear. Our presenters are Mr. Raymond Lawrence, Miss Aileen Burton, and Mrs. Delia Coffey Weeks. Raymond will deal, I don't remember the precise topics, but he will deal with the showcasing of the national wear, bringing it into national focus for the efforts of the Cultural Division. Aileen will talk about the history of the national wear, and she will use several aspects to show us what was designed for what and what was worn when. And then Mrs. Coffey Weeks will take a look at it in contemporary form. I think hers is entitled something close to More Than Just for October or something like that. And she'll be talking about putting the cultural wear and Creole wear into our contemporary lifestyles. Okay? So that will be at 7 p.m. at UWI Open Campus Auditorium, where we are right now. And so you are all invited. It's a free event, and it is part of the National Independence Calendar. Okay? So go ahead, get your monies ready so you can buy your books. Thank you, everyone.